Do you often forget where you placed your keys or why you walked into a room? Is it just normal aging or something more serious? Margaret, a warm-hearted 72-year-old grandmother from Ohio, used to love cooking Sunday lunch for her family. One day she completely forgot her famous apple pie recipe, the one she's made every year for over 2 decades. Her daughter laughed it off as a senior moment, but Margaret began noticing more lapses. Misplacing items, forgetting names, even feeling lost while walking through her own neighborhood. At first, she didn't want to worry anyone. Maybe I'm just getting old, she thought. But what Margaret was experiencing wasn't just aging. It was the beginning of something deeper. This is the reality for millions of older adults, the silent onset of dementia, a condition that slowly, quietly changes how we think, move, feel, and interact with the world. Why early signs of dementia are so often missed? We often associate dementia with memory loss, and while that is one of its hallmark features, the early signs can be much more subtle and much easier to dismiss. A sudden shift in mood, trouble using everyday tools, a clumsy fall, a loss of interest in hobbies. These small changes often go unnoticed or chalked up to just getting older. But here's the truth. Dementia is not a normal part of aging. It is a progressive brain condition that requires attention, and early detection can dramatically improve the outcome. In fact, studies show that intervening early with the right lifestyle adjustments, medical care, and support can slow the progression of cognitive decline and help preserve independence and quality of life for years longer. A growing concern, and why you should pay attention. Right now, over 55 million people worldwide live with dementia, and with our population aging rapidly, that number is expected to double every 20 years. In the UK alone, 1 in 3 people born today will develop dementia in their lifetime. In the US, nearly 1 in 9 adults over 65 has Alzheimer's, the most common form of dementia. But here's the most important part. Many cases go undiagnosed for years because early signs are subtle, misunderstood, or ignored. This delay in recognition often means people miss out on the crucial early window, the period when brain function can still be supported through nutrition, exercise, medication, and care planning. It's not just memory. Other warning signs to watch for when we think of dementia, we think of forgetfulness. But did you know that changes in posture, coordination, or physical strength can also be early signs? That's because the brain controls everything, not just thoughts, but movement, vision, balance, and speech. You might notice difficulty buttoning a shirt, trouble gripping utensils, a shuffled walk, a sudden fear of socializing, changes in sleep patterns or mood swings. At first, these seem minor, but together, they could be early indicators that something in the brain is changing. You are not alone, and it's okay to ask questions. Whether it's you, a partner, or a parent, if something feels off, trust your instincts. This video is not meant to scare you. It's meant to empower you. Over the next few minutes, we'll go through 10 early signs of dementia you should never ignore. These clues might help you or someone you love seek support, make lifestyle changes, and improve quality of life, sooner rather than later. As we go through each sign, I encourage you to reflect. Have you experienced any of these yourself? Have you noticed them in someone close to you? If so, you're not alone, and you're not helpless. Before we dive in, please do one thing. Leave a comment below if you've seen any changes in yourself or a loved one. Let's start an honest, caring conversation, because by raising awareness, we can reduce fear and take action. Are you ready to explore the signs? Let's begin. 10 early signs of dementia you shouldn't ignore. Let's now go through the 10 most common and most often overlooked early signs of dementia. These are not just occasional forgetful moments. These are persistent changes that signal it's time to seek help. 1. Difficulty with everyday tasks. Ever struggle to operate the TV remote or get confused using a microwave or smartphone you've owned for years? Why it matters. Dementia affects the brain's ability to process sequences and steps, so familiar tasks suddenly become confusing. You might notice someone cooking using strange steps or forgetting how to make their favorite tea. What to do? If this happens often, not just once in a while, write it down and track how often it's occurring. 2. Changes in coordination or movement. Stumbling more than usual, difficulty with balance or walking. These aren't just orthopedic issues. They could be neurological, meaning the brain may not be communicating properly with the muscles. Early forms of dementia, like Lewy body dementia or vascular dementia, often begin with physical symptoms. Trouble holding utensils, slower walking difficulty with buttons, zippers, or shoelaces, shaking hands or clumsiness. What to do? Observe how fine motor tasks are performed. Try activities like folding clothes or pouring water. If the movements seem awkward or hesitant, it's worth noting. 3. Short-term memory loss. This is perhaps the most familiar sign, but it's important to understand how it differs from normal aging. Normal forgetfulness, misplacing your glasses but remembering later. Dementia-related forgetfulness, forgetting you wore glasses or putting them in the fridge. Also common, repeating the same question minutes later, forgetting recent conversations, struggling to remember appointments even with reminders. What to do? Gently ask the person if they remember recent events. Keep a written log of memory lapses and how frequently they occur. 4th, speech and word-finding problems. Have you ever been stuck trying to find the right word? That's normal from time to time, but in dementia, it becomes frequent and frustrating. People may use vague filler words, the thing, you know, that one. Forget simple words like kettle or toothbrush. Substitute incorrect words, hand clock instead of watch. The brain's language centers are disrupted early in dementia. What to do? Encourage reading aloud or gentle conversation. Take note of frequent word-finding pauses or confusion. 5. Mood and personality changes. One of the most emotionally difficult early signs. Someone kind and easygoing may suddenly become irritable or withdrawn. A normally confident person may grow anxious, suspicious, or fearful, especially in unfamiliar places. Dementia impacts the frontal lobes, which manage judgment, mood, and behavior. What to do? Don't confront or criticize. Instead, gently encourage them to talk about their feelings. Track changes in personality or emotional outbursts that seem out of character. 6. Apathy or loss of interest. Did your loved one once enjoy gardening, puzzles, or walking with friends, and now seems disinterested? This isn't just slowing down with age. It could signal mental and emotional fatigue caused by early dementia. Often people will stop participating in favorite hobbies, avoid social interaction, spend hours sitting silently without initiative. What to do? Invite, don't pressure. Offer small, joyful activities and watch their engagement level. If they consistently decline, make a note and discuss it with a doctor. 7. Sleep disruptions. This one surprises many people, but it's a common early sign of neurological decline. People may wake up frequently during the night, wander at night, sleep excessively during the day, act out dreams, especially in Lewy body dementia. Sleep is essential for brain detoxification. Disturbed sleep can worsen memory and mood issues. What to do? Keep a sleep journal, reduce screen time in the evening, and establish a calming bedtime routine. 8. Disorientation in time or place. Missing appointments is one thing. Not knowing what day it is or where you are is another. Common behaviors include confusing day and night, getting lost on familiar routes, misunderstanding the passage of time. Wasn't that yesterday when it was a week ago? This disorientation is a hallmark of Alzheimer's and related dementias. What to do? Use large calendars and clocks. Mark days clearly. If the confusion increases, consult a healthcare provider. 9. Placing objects in strange locations. Keys in the freezer, glasses in the washing machine, sandwiches in a drawer. This isn't just forgetfulness. It's a loss of spatial memory and task logic. People with dementia may no longer understand the function or proper place for certain items. What to do? Observe unusual item placements. This is often one of the clearest red flags for early cognitive decline. 10. Repeating the same questions or stories. Hearing the same story 3 times in one visit. Being asked the same question over and over again? This reflects short-term memory breakdown, a hallmark of early Alzheimer's. The person is not being annoying or forgetful on purpose. Their brain is simply not retaining the information. What to do? Respond patiently. Use written notes, labels, or gentle redirection when needed. Real example: Arthur's story. Arthur, a 68-year-old retired teacher in Birmingham, always loved crossword puzzles. But one day he couldn't remember the word for banana. Then he began calling his neighbor Bill, even though her name was Margaret. His wife thought he was just stressed, until he started falling asleep at odd hours and stopped watering his beloved garden. When he tried to make tea and use salt instead of sugar, she knew it was time to see the doctor. Arthur was diagnosed with early-stage Alzheimer's, but because his family acted early, they were able to make lifestyle changes, start medication, and prepare for the road ahead. Arthur now attends weekly memory classes, walks 30 minutes a day, and still laughs at old comedy shows with his grandkids. What you can do starting today. If any of these signs feel familiar, don't panic, but don't ignore them either. Here's what you can do now. Write things down. Track symptoms, even small ones. Talk to someone, share concerns with your partner or children. Make an appointment. Ask your GP for a memory screening or cognitive assessment. Rule out other causes. Thyroid issues, vitamin B12 deficiency, and even dehydration can mimic dementia symptoms. Early action can make all the difference. What happens when you act early? Imagine if Margaret, Arthur, or maybe even you, caught the early signs of dementia and didn't ignore them. Imagine having a plan in place, a circle of support, a doctor who listens, and most importantly, a better quality of life for more years to come. That's the real power of awareness. When you recognize the early warning signs, you open the door to earlier medical intervention, personalized care plans, lifestyle changes that slow disease progression, better emotional and financial preparation, more time spent meaningfully with loved ones, and that time is priceless. Simple lifestyle. Steps that make a big difference. While there is currently no cure for dementia, research is showing us that the choices we make each day can dramatically affect the brain, even after symptoms begin. Here are some science-backed habits that support brain health and resilience. 1. Nourish your brain. Eat a diet rich in leafy greens, spinach, kale, rocket, fatty fish, salmon, sardines, berries, especially blueberries, nuts, seeds, and olive oil, whole grains and legumes. The MIND diet, which combines elements of the Mediterranean and DASH diets, has been shown to lower dementia risk by up to 53% in some studies. 2. Move more, sit less. Aim for 30 minutes of brisk walking, daily balance exercises like Tai Chi or gentle yoga. Strength training twice per week. Movement increases blood flow to the brain, boosts mood, and helps with sleep. All essential for brain health. 3. Keep learning. Mentally stimulating activities include puzzles, crosswords, Sudoku. Learning a new skill or language, attending local lectures or classes. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections, does not stop with age. 4. Sleep deeply. Deep sleep helps the brain flush out toxins linked to Alzheimer's. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of uninterrupted rest, a consistent bedtime routine. Avoiding screens and caffeine in the evening. Call a friend, join a club, volunteer, or simply go for a walk with someone you trust. Isolation is a serious risk factor. Connection is medicine. You're not alone. Find help and support. Whether you're the one noticing changes or you're worried about someone else, you don't have to face it by yourself. Here's where to turn for help. Your GP or primary care doctor memory clinics, often available via NHS or local health services. Alzheimer's Society, UK, or Alzheimer's Association, the US, support groups, both local and online, for caregivers and people with early dementia, these resources offer practical guidance, emotional support, and clear steps for what to do next. Final thoughts: a new beginning, not the end. Dementia may change your life, but it doesn't have to steal your joy, your dignity, or your sense of purpose. Every moment matters. Even if things are different, they can still be beautiful. With early action, the right care, and a strong support system, people living with dementia can continue to laugh, connect, learn, and love. So if you or someone you care about is showing signs, don't delay. Take the first small step. Now it's your turn. Have you or a loved one experienced any of the early signs we talked about? Share your story in the comments. You might help someone else feel less alone. If you found this helpful, please give it a like. Share it with a friend, neighbor, or family member. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on life-changing, senior-friendly health content. Quick question before you go. What's one thing you do daily that keeps your mind sharp? Let's swap ideas in the comments and build a caring, informed community together.